Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, today we're embarking on a seriously mind-bending journey. We're going to dive into one of the most profound, deeply mystical, and honestly perception-shattering texts in all of Eastern philosophy, the Lankavatara Sutra. If you've ever questioned the nature of reality or kind of wondered if there's more to this universe than what we can physically touch and see, well, you're in the exact right place. Get ready to leave your ordinary perceptions at the door.
Okay, let's dive into this. Just look around you for a second. The screen you're watching, the room you're sitting in, the sounds you're hearing. It all feels pretty solid, right? Feels completely real. But what if I told you that, according to this ancient text, absolutely everything you're experiencing in this exact second is nothing more than a highly convincing projection? Literally a holographic movie created by your own mind. That is the ultimate premise of the Lankavatara Sutra, the philosophy of mind only, and it's a total paradigm shift.
So, to really wrap our heads around this, we gotta set the stage. The sutra opens up like a cosmic epic. Picture this. We're at the peak of the Malaya Mountains in the mythical city of Lanka. The Buddha has just emerged from the Dragon King's palace out in the ocean, and he's greeted by King Ravana, the legendary 10-headed ruler of Lanka. Ravana rolls up in this magnificent flying flower palace, literally showering the Buddha with jewels and music. He bows and earnestly asks the Buddha to enter his city and teach the ultimate truth, the supreme Dharma.
Now, you'd think the Buddha would just sit down and give a speech, right? But he does something totally unexpected. He performs this grand vanishing act. In a massive flash of unimaginable power, he transforms the entire landscape. He creates infinite, towering mountains made entirely of radiant jewels. On top of every mountain, there's a Buddha, and in front of every Buddha, there's a King Ravana. The whole universe is reflected in this dazzling, infinite mirror. And then, snap. In a blink of an eye, the entire vision vanishes into thin air. Poof, gone. Ravana is left standing completely alone in his palace. Stunned, disoriented. He's forced to ask, wait, what was that? Was it a dream? A mirage? Who was looking, and what was actually seen? That staggering moment wasn't just some magic trick to show off. It was a visceral lesson. The Buddha was deliberately shattering Ravana's grip on physical reality to prep him for the core teaching.
Section 1. Mind Only, the projector of the world. Let's dig into this concept of Alaya Vijnana, or the storehouse consciousness. Think of your mind as a massive, super powerful movie projector. The film spool inside this projector is loaded up with all your past habits, desires, and mental patterns from time immemorial. This projector is running constantly, right? It takes those internal patterns and casts them outward, constructing the illusion of an external world. We walk around every day thinking we're interacting with solid stuff out there, but philosophically, everything is mind only. What we see are just worldly appearances that we ourselves are projecting. We're actually just walking through the light beam of our own mental projector. Now, the Buddha knows this is a pretty tough pill to swallow, so he uses these incredibly poetic metaphors to help us grasp it. He says the world we cling to is just like a reflection in a mirror. You know, it looks exactly like the real thing, but try to grab it, and you can't. It's like a fleeting dream you wake up from, or a mirage city in the desert. My absolute favorite, though, is the last one, a fire wheel made by a spinning torch. If you take a glowing torch and spin it really fast in the dark, your eyes sees a solid ring of fire. But there is no solid ring. It's just a single point of light moving incredibly fast. Our world is exactly like that, a total illusion born from rapid motion.
So how does this actually trap us? Let's break down the mechanics. The sutra describes consciousness like a vast, deep ocean. When the winds of the objective world blow, meaning when we encounter sights, sounds, events in our day-to-day lives, the surface of our mental ocean gets agitated. The waves of consciousness rise up. And the exact moment those waves of thought and judgment start crashing, the illusion of a divided reality is born. We suddenly see a me in here and the world out there. The ocean entirely forgets its one single body of water and starts obsessing over the individual waves.
But here's the beautiful twist the Buddha offers. He compares our agitated, illusion-filled mind to mud and dust, and the enlightened mind to gold and beautiful ornaments. He points out that, hey, if you have a lump of gold and you mold it into an ornament, its fundamental essence hasn't changed at all. In the exact same way, the ultimate nature of reality and the illusions we currently see aren't two completely separate things. The mud and the dust aren't your enemies. They just need to be recognized for what they actually are, so the ocean can become still again. So, if everything is just our own mind projecting illusions, how do we actually wake up from the dream? How do we unplug the projector? Well, we have to tackle the root of the problem, which is our dualistic mind.
Section 2. Breaking the dualistic mind. The absolute biggest trap we fall into, according to the text, is our relentless habit of categorizing. From the second we wake up, our brains are slicing the universe into tiny pieces. We constantly say, oh, this is good and that is bad. This is form, that is non-form. This is right, that is wrong. Even in our spiritual practice, we divide the world into dharma, the true teachings, and non-dharma, the false stuff. We genuinely think if we just cling hard enough to the good side, we'll hit enlightenment. But the Buddha steps in and says, no, this categorizing itself is the very delusion keeping us trapped.
So the crucial point is summarized perfectly in this radical quote. The Buddha tells Ravana, even the Dharma should be abandoned, let alone non-Dharma. Just think about how explosive that is. The Buddha is literally telling his own followers to let go of their attachment to his teachings. Why? Because if you're stubbornly clinging to the concept of spiritual truth, you're still playing the dualism game. You're still creating waves on that ocean of consciousness. To achieve true liberation, you have to let go of absolutely every conceptual box you've ever built.
And this brings us to the ultimate philosophical weapon in the sutra. The Bodhisattva Mahamati steps forward and just hits the Buddha with a massive barrage of questions about existence, science, philosophy, the whole universe. And the Buddha answers with a rapid-fire sequence of 108 paradoxical phrases. These 108 phrases aren't meant to be analyzed logically. They are systematically designed to break our deep-seated attachment to worldly appearances and completely short-circuit that categorizing brain of ours.
He starts dropping these paradoxes like hammers. The phrase of birth is not the phrase of birth. You hear that, and your mind just sort of stutters, right? Like, wait, if it's not birth, then what is it? The Buddha is intentionally stripping away the label. The very moment you try to conceptualize birth, he just yanks the rug right out from under you.
Then he speeds up. The phrase of permanence is not the phrase of permanence. He's taking every single philosophical concept Mahamati holds dear and negating it instantly. It acts just like a sword, slicing right through the dualistic mind before it even has a chance to form a coherent thought.
The phrase of emptiness is not the phrase of emptiness. And this brilliantly illustrates that the Buddha isn't just pushing some doctrine of nothingness or nihilism here. He is deliberately stopping the mind from clinging to any concept whatsoever. Even if you try to cling to the idea of emptiness, boom, he shatters that too. By systematically destroying all 108 categories of human thought, the mind simply runs out of worldly forms to grasp. The attachments are completely severed. The wind stops blowing and the waves stop crashing. And when those waves finally settle, when the desperate need to categorize the universe falls away entirely, we reach the profound resolution of the sutra.
Section 3. Awakening, returning to the pure mind.
The path to true freedom here is structured, but it's incredibly internal. First, you really have to realize that the external objects you stress over all day are just like a magic trick. They have no independent, solid existence. Second, you have to understand they are entirely mind-born, projected by your own storehouse consciousness. Once you truly internalize this, the suffering of the three realms is just extinguished. Why? Because you can no longer be hurt by, or fiercely attached to, a mirage that you know you're projecting yourself.
This quote elegantly anchors the entire philosophy of mind only. By realizing that the environment is like an illusion created by one's own mind, one extinguishes delusions and suffering. You see, this isn't about ignoring the world or hiding from it. It's about seeing it with absolute clarity. When you know the fire wheel is just a spinning spark, you stop being afraid of the flames. You actually regain your power.
Which leaves us with this final, profound thought to carry with you today. The Lankavatara Sutra tells us that we are the ultimate architects of our own experience. So, as you finish this explainer and look up from your screen right now, what world is your mind going to project next? Are you going to see a solid world of stress and division? Or will you see the beautiful, fleeting magic trick of your own consciousness? The projector is running. The choice is yours.